We have with us today Mr. Aneesh Chopra, Chief Technology Officer of the United States of America. He was personally appointed by President Obama to discover innovative ways in which technology could drive the American economy. Mr. Chopra, welcome to the show. My first question to you, sir, how do I get your job? What's that special skill, that special sauce that goes into making the CTO of the USA?
When the president created the position, he wanted a person to directly report to him and review all the policies that come in front of the president to understand how technology, data, and innovation might accelerate or improve the effectiveness of that given policy. And I would say that you'd want a person that has three characteristics. One is they'd have to have some understanding of the potential for technology, data, and innovation to have an impact. You'd hope that they had some background investing in or participating in the innovation ecosystem, that had some experience bringing ideas to life. And third, they have an appreciation for policy making so that they understand the tools that are available in Washington or whatever level of government where the role might be to make a difference. And that's a little bit of the story that I bring to the table.
But in a society, in a competitive society like the US, where innovation decides the success or failure of an individual, why does the government need to specially appoint a CTO? Isn't innovation a prerequisite for survival anyways?
Well, the United States government has historically played a fairly significant role in the innovation ecosystem. In fact, the president released a strategy for American innovation, and he articulated three roles of government, and they have relevance to the role of the CTO. The first is that we invest in the building blocks of innovation, that is traditional infrastructure, roadways, railways, runways, but increasingly now that includes digital infrastructure. So I've advised the president, for example, on our national wireless initiative. So that is to give advice on policies that could create more economic opportunity, not just, for the competitive market that you're describing, you need to have an infrastructure that works. So advice on what kind of infrastructure is an important aspect. Second, we have to have rules of the road. So it's very important for us that we have rules of the road in the internet era. How does one preserve the openness of the internet while protecting intellectual property, preserving privacy rights, and strengthening our cybersecurity posture? And then last but certainly not least, how can we contribute to the innovation ecosystem with the assets that we've gathered in Washington? We are releasing open data. We are investing more and more in research and development and promoting that research investments to come to market. And we're increasingly using the challenges, prizes, and competitions model to tap into the entrepreneurial energy of the American people to solve the big challenges of our day. And those increasingly are in areas that have historically not been the place of innovation. The care delivery system in healthcare, our energy system, and our educational system, for example, could benefit from a greater focus on innovation.
Now, that being so, sir, how does your job differ from the Chief Information Officer, Vivek Kundra? Your roles seem to overlap quite a bit.
Vivek, who's now left the administration, my best friend on the planet, he has had the responsibility to invest the $80 billion a year the government spends on internal IT. He set the strategy, the vision, and the plan to make sure that we're getting the most out of the dollars invested as we run the government. My responsibility has been around the policies that externally drive the American economy. So our wireless initiative is not so much about wireless in the government as it is policy to liberate spectrum for purposes of mobile broadband expansion in the economy. Our healthcare IT strategy, while we do have agencies that run clinics and hospitals, they're a small part of the overall American healthcare system. So getting the rules of the road right for the American healthcare system from an IT standpoint is where I focus. The smart grid is largely governed at the state level, not the federal level, so we're developing strategies to modernize the grid. And education policy has historically been a local government effort. So where it's external to the walls of Washington, I've taken on a responsibility to advise the president directly. Where it's been managing the assets of government effectively and efficiently, my dear friend and colleague Vivek and his successor, Stephen Van Rokel, have emphasized that $80 billion of IT spend that they're just managing much more effectively for the American people.
So I really want to ask you this, three big ticket innovations that are very close to your heart that you're personally pushing to help further the American economy.
I believe the President's National Wireless Initiative will both be a platform for economic growth in mobile broadband over the next decade, will pay down the deficit by creating more through auctioning off spectrum for mobile broadband. You bring receipts into the government, so you bring down our budget. and we will build out a public safety broadband network that's interoperable and nationwide. That, to me, is a very important innovation. Getting the President's wireless innovation policy through our Congress is critical. Number two, establishing these internet policy principles, a framework for a more agile, nimble government regulatory regime around questions of privacy policy, cybersecurity, and the like. And then last but not least, this open innovation culture. We are creating really an open platform for innovation by liberating data, by issuing these challenges and prizes. And I've had the honor and privilege of supporting our overall open government effort. It was my first homework assignment. It was the job the President gave me on day one when he said, I want to make the government more transparent, more participatory, more collaborative. And he asked us to figure out what are the technical solutions to tap into the expertise of the American people. We've launched platforms like challenge.gov, data.gov, and we're going to continue building on those successes as a big chunk of our priority set, especially in areas like health, energy, education, and manufacturing.
In the current economic gloom, so 3 areas where you see India helping the US. 3 cheap, effective, big-ticket technologies that can be game changers for both our countries.
The Akash tablet that's coming to market in India includes components that are made in America, manufactured in America. And so American jobs are benefiting from exports of component parts to solutions that are expanding the world's economic accessing markets. Number two, we see collaboration where products and services that are jointly developed or benefiting have benefit in the U.S. and the Indian economy. And so I think you'll see a lot of these. You've seen examples. GE refers to this as reverse innovation. Other U.S. corporations are benefiting from this global marketplace, taking American components, Indian talents, putting them together and building new products and services for the world. And then I think on a third level, we're seeing new partnerships that are forming. So again, in this environment where talent matters, what better than to find ways to ensure that the bright minds in South Central LA can link up with the bright minds in Gurgaon and to come together to form new companies, new products, new services. And so we're facilitating some of that connectivity through issues like the U.S.-India Endowment Fund, which is bringing teams of people together to compete for grant monies to solve big problems. A rising tide lifts all boats. As we tap into these global markets, they'll benefit all economies. India's got a very vibrant and strong BPO industry, IT industry, and the world is benefiting from that talent. So don't equate managing, visa policy or very obscure issues as testimony to the overall relationship. They're very small issues in the big scheme of things. The math shows it. There's more commerce between the two countries, more visas between the two countries, more visitors between the two countries. So all the metrics are up.
Now a question about family. So do you still have relatives in Meerut? Do you still visit them regularly? What was it like growing up in the US? What about being Indian helped you grow up the ladder in the US faster?
Most of my family has immigrated to the US, but we still have relatives in India and we love them. I would say my Nanima was the biggest impact because she had dropped out of school in the 8th grade. But she lived with me as a child, and she demanded that I read to her in English, that I complete math problems because she wanted me to study math and to be prepared. And so with that commitment to education, the values, despite her own lack of education, she really instilled those values in me, and that helped me as I pursued my educational life and my professional life. Oh, of course I was a nerd. I still am a nerd. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of the United States. I wear my nerdship with pride.
A bit about personal technology, sir. Your laptop, your cell phone, your camera. What do you like best? What can't you live without?
Well, I, of course, can't live without my iPhone, my iPad. I have a bunch of Apple products. I got a BlackBerry. I'm fully connected, but it's the way my 5-year-old daughter and my 3-year-old daughter, they are connecting in ways I could never have imagined as a child growing up. These devices are just opening up the world to these young people, and I can't wait to see their generation grow.
Any tech shows that you're a fan of, sir? Anything that you regularly tune into on TV?
I'm a big fan of CNET, so I do a lot with the CNET family, but I think the CNN family is doing a great job on technology as well. Fareed Zakaria, when he does a special in innovation, always attracts my attention.
Mr. Chopra, thank you so much for giving us your time. It was an honor having you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.